You're now listening to Podcasts with Curtis Mack.
And your co-host Bessas.
3, 2, 1. And we're back. What's going on, everybody? It's Curtis Mack and Bessas in the studio.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? What's up, Kurt? Haven't seen you in a
I
minute.
need to clear my throat. Yeah, hold on. Yeah. This guy.
You good?
Yeah.
You good?
Let me start again.
No, let that roll.
That was good.
That's good, man.
Nah, I don't like that because people are going to think I'm sick. Take
funny.
3.
It's just funny because people are going to be fucking weird about this shit, bro.
They are going to be weird.
They're going to be weird.
Here we go. Take 3. And we're back. What's going on, Bessas?
What's going on, Curtis? How you doing, man?
I'm good. Good to have you in the studio.
I know. It's been a minute since we, been together in the stew doing it
Aw,
live and whatever. But,
yeah. You're
you
back.
know, the Zoom, the digital stuff is cool and whatnot. But I figure, it's me and Kurt. We know it's not too much. It's
No,
not a
we're
big
good.
deal.
We practice social distancing. I take all precautions. We're good.
Exactly.
Except right now. Here we go. The media must go on.
We got to get it done.
We got to get it done. So just a big shout out to everyone doing their thing right now that hopped in the virtual world. I see a lot of people, starting their own podcast and doing their own media and trying different things with their cameras and microphones and
A lot of lives going on.
Yes.
A lot of. I just would like a digital community in a way. I see people are doing their thing and doing the podcast.
And I have people come up to me and say, you've been doing this, so big ups to you. And then I'm saying big ups to anybody that's now hopping in the digital pool. You could check the podcast archives. We've had people on here that are now doing their thing. In that realm. I've worked with people that are now hopping in the digital realm. But it took the quarantine for some of them to get that push, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of if you can't have anything to create content with, this is something that always, is always going to be happening. Me and you are always going to have conversations about what's happening in now or on this day or what it might be.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. You can always bet on that. Podcast with Curtis Mack and Bessas. We're going to be talking about things for a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is that you have content. Then you take little pieces of the podcast, you use it for things. And people now, artists, they can't get out to do the show or to do the Q&A or meeting or whatever it may be. So now they're like kind of they need their own media outlet.
Yeah.
And good for you.
Facts.
Good for you.
And anybody
Straight
that's
up.
doing it that has been in the studio before, I'm glad you are doing it because that was the point of coming in the studio to show you how easy the audio engineering is, how and how to step by step do the marketing, do the production, how to do the audio editing and all that kind of stuff, and the visual. It all ties together. So
because a lot of people would ask us, why are you doing it? What
or
are you
how
doing
do you do
for?
it? Or how do you do it?
But even people would ask, what do you remember? We had one of our good buddies asked us like,
What's
but
the
why?
point?
But what's the point? We're just like, and like a lot of people it doesn't click to it. Maybe it takes something like a quarantine or something like that for it to click to them.
Or some people haven't even maybe watched it, And like the point of my original podcast was to highlight talent on the East Coast or in the Tri-State particularly to, and showcase samples of their work and kind of get them media ready and media train them. So when and if they do have a real interview out in the world or something happens where they need to perform or they need to get, because if you're good at what you do, you're going to have to deal with the media one way or another. You have to. If you're good at what you do, you're going to deal with the media, and that almost leads us into our next segment, which is kind of awkward questions.
Awkward questions,
And the one question we had is if you were to hold a world record, what would it be?
What would it be? I don't know. What do you like? Am I going to answer?
I'm going to answer.
You
funny.
answer.
I think mine would be giving out free work for clients.
Curtis is the world record holder for just
helping everybody out.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I just sometimes money makes things ugly sometimes, and you don't want to, it gets in the middle of shit. But that's joking wise. But I don't know. Come back to me on some real shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what about you? What would you hold the record for?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I really couldn't say.
Well, what about y'all? What would you hold the record for? We're asking you. So if you were to hold a world record in any category, what would it be? Or what would you attempt it to be, Because a lot of people feel like they're really good at something, but nobody knows about it,
I'm trying to think of something that, like, I'm, like, for some reason I'm, really good at it for no reason.
Yeah.
That, like, I don't know, that a lot of people aren't, maybe,
Yeah. What, are you getting a text
something
over there?
like that. No, I'm just I have it on.
Showed
I didn't
it.
get a text.
It might even be my watch because we're so teched out nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going off the tabby and shit.
Oh, that's probably why. What's another question? What's another awkward question that might rattle somebody's mind?
If you could be any insect, what would it be? And if you say kill a hornet, I'm running out the room.
No, I actually saw something more recently where people's perspective on the world is what you see. You know, it's how you see it.
Yeah.
But, you know, bats, you know, travel through, sonic waves or whatever, the audio waves, and bees travel with like they see things in like ultraviolet. Animals and insects, and they see and communicate.
Everything's different.
Yeah, so I would love to be like a bee and see things, because they see a honey flower different than we do. Obviously, they see it like glowing and where the honey is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
like
I would love to be like a bee or something.
Bees are very important, apparently. You know what I mean?
And you get to hang out with some flowers and pollinate some people.
I think I would be, if I could be an insect, I think I would be. I just said if I could be a spider. Oh my god.
This guy.
No, I don't want to be a spider. I'll be one of those praying mantis things.
If you were an insect.
Even though they're like
endangered.
They're endangered, but I saw one in Greece one time and I was like filming it, and the thing had so much courage, like how much bigger I am than it was.
Yeah.
And it just was like looking at me, eyeing me up, and jumped at my camera. Like I have to find that video. It was crazy.
Hopefully we can play it on here with some B-roll.
That would be cool.
Now let us know if you were an insect or could be an insect, which one and why. Kind of a weird one. I'm sure there's statistics on it and facts on it.
We don't have them, but
we don't have them. But I'll tell you what we do have. We got some facts on some
this
laws.
Day. Yeah.
On this day. So check it out. On this day was a big day for Connecticut, right?
Yeah, 1901. Connecticut enacts its first speed limit, 12 miles per hour in the city and 15 miles per hour in the country.
And that's not to get confused with the prior laws and regulations that were in place in New Amsterdam, which is
New York City. I'm sorry, Alicia Keys. I just butchered your shiznit.
So anyway, they had laws there that said you couldn't gallop your wagon.
Yeah, imagine being told that. You're just pulling through.
You can't even control your horse, though, sometimes, I bet.
That's probably like what it was, but that's funny, though. Like
since the 1600s, they had laws like that. And it took till, 1901 for Connecticut to say, all right, we got to put laws in place. But that was for motor vehicles they put laws in place, right?
Yeah, New York, they adopted the comprehensive traffic code. And it was
1903.
1903.
Yeah.
And then by 1930, 28 states didn't require driver's license, and 12 of those states had no speed limits at all.
It was a shit show.
It was just like the Wild West.
Nobody knew what to do, but it just and then I'm sure, things happen, but people don't want to be told what to do. Through that process, I'm sure it was like an uneasy
Imagine
situation.
You have a horse born on your property, and you're taking it to New Amsterdam, taking the wife out to eat and show the wife you just built this horse and wagon or whatever.
Yeah.
And you just polished it up and you go speeding through and some guy with a fucking whistle tells you to slow down,
Stop.
I would be like, get out of here. And then what was the ticket? It was
equal to $150.
Yeah, so that guy's pissed.
Yeah.
And it's the first time this has ever happened before in history. Imagine being that guy.
By the 70s, the feds came in, didn't they?
Nixon,
Richard Nixon.
Oh, yeah. 1974, Richard Nixon, nationwide, 55 miles per hour speed limit.
Which was raised to 65 in the 80s,
Raised to 65
for rural
in 87
areas.
For rural areas. And the amount of people driving dropped from 4 million to 2 million. So it went almost in half by them pushing, these...
The people didn't want to have it. So at that point, they're like, I'm riding my bike, I'm going to do this.
If you're going to tell us how fast we can do it, we're not even going to do it.
That's 2 million people, though, that said, we're not going to deal with this.
Yeah, we don't want you to,
From the 70s to the 80s, 2 million people stopped, not
driving.
Yeah, because of laws and regulations. That's wild,
And it all basically on 1901, on this day.
Yeah, on this day in Connecticut, it kind of sparked that whole...
Crazy.
Wild. And what else happened on this day? It's kind of historic. A lot of people don't know. You want to let them know? You want me to let them know?
Well, I think you know more about it.
Yeah.
I could say it if you want.
Yeah,
you
drop it.
In 1758, the French and Indian War was sparked due to the abduction of, what's her name?
Marie Campbell.
Okay, because I was going to butcher her name.
Yeah. So that was like a historic abduction The Lenape Indians, and meanwhile I say Lenape, not Lenape. If you're from New Jersey, there's a section in New Jersey called Lenape Valley. It's actually Lenape.
Jeez, I'm sorry.
See, even Bessas is bad.
I just had to hit the microphone for that. That's facts. Punch the microphone.
Instead of a mic drop, mic punch. Lenape. So, there we go. So Lenape Indians were like the first Indians. They were the first people of this area, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. This whole tri-state, whatever, a little bit of Connecticut. Mm-hmm. And there was a house in western Pennsylvania that they had, infiltrated and abducted this young girl. I'm pretty sure they killed most of the people in there and burnt the house down. And then they took this girl, and that kind of sparked.
And that was like the triggering moment, I guess.
I guess you can call it the triggering moment that was for the French and Indian War. But, that's what we
know.
Like
we're saying, who people were writing history books. Usually the people that win the war. Or whatever,
whoever's writing the books writes history. They create it. And, shout out to Dr. Fry, because when I was at Centenary, he was like a huge person on history. He's a historian for New Jersey. He's a historian for the, for the university. And he was like so heavy on like how it was Lenape Indians, not Lenape, and how there were certain situations that people didn't even know about, like what triggered them to abduct this girl,
Yeah, like who knows what happened a couple of days before that. You know what I'm saying? Like
facts, but
if only one person's telling the side of the story,
it's probably a little biased.
It's a little biased. So that's the Lenape. We're going ham that day.
But what made them
do that?
And
this is on this day, and what was it?
1758, May 21st.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's something that's interesting, and you can always relate to now. There's if you don't know your history, then you don't know your future. That's a saying, I'm pretty sure.
There's stuff that nobody knows. There's stuff that nobody knows, and there's stuff that I don't know, and there's stuff that people know. They say this, ready?
Yeah.
First, you don't know.
And if you don't know,
no.
Now you know.
There's that. There's big, But first, you don't know.
Okay.
Then you know you don't know.
And
then you know what you didn't know, and then you become known for what you know. Shout out to Norman Worth.
Whoa. Crazy. You got to mic drop that one. Pen drop. Oh yeah. Yo, it's been a hell of a time, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in the stew.
Of course, man.
Stay tuned, y'all. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Podcasts
with Curtis Mack
and your co-host Bessas.